Larry always said it's not just a privilege to be an Indian, it's a responsibility. You have a responsibility to give back to our ancestors for the sacrifices they made so we can continue on as nations. So I was born in 1954, and the Indian Freedom and Religious Act did not come into effect until 1978. Growing up, at about 5 years old, the only powwow I'd gone to as a young child was in Sawyer, and it was at night. And the only lighting there was the fire and headlights, and it was quite secluded. And not realizing that it was out in the woods and hidden for a reason. Didn't figure that out until that I learned that Native spirituality, American Indian spirituality was outlawed until 1978. Looking back at that first powwow and being so young, probably 5 years old, but remembering it clearly. The only one I can remember being on the drum was an old man by the name of Skinno LaPrairie. Skinno was his reser name. Lewis was his real name, and the only reason I knew that is because he lived in a little shack, little one-room shack by the church on the res, and his mailbox was next to the steps at the church. Lewis LaPrairie. That's the only reason I knew his real name. And thinking on, later on, going to powwows, the things that had changed. Today, what they might call a traditional powwow is really not a traditional powwow. They call it that because in part it is, but there's all these vendors and selling things, and it's different than a big drum ceremony where you go there and it's teachings. It's not the same. You don't have the vendors. You're there to listen and participate when asked to, and learn. It's teachings. Other than what they might call a traditional powwow is really a social powwow. And it's a good thing because it brings people from all around their beautiful regalia or just dancing and enjoying themselves, being Indian and being okay with it. Because there you can be yourself.